All right, I'm going to start out this live stream with a little bit of culture from Japan. So here we go. 45 seconds. Good intro.
Zaterdag en springen blütenblatt. Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines Blümelein.
How adorable.
Und das heißt Erika. In der Heimat wohnt ein blondes Nikoleinbad. Und das heißt Erika. Und dieses Mädel ist mein treues Schätzelein. Und mein Glück.
All right. That's actually a song
So your holiday brunch
that they added to the list for the French Foreign Legion. I guess at the end of World War II, a lot of German soldiers joined the French Foreign Legion. So Erica was added as a Legionnaire singing song. Pretty crazy. And before anyone gets crazy about it, yes, that song predates World War II by quite a lot. So let's not be stupid, guys, if we can help it. Yeah, so what am I doing? Well, I'm getting ready to put some flesh tone on this character here that I kind of made. I'm not sure where I got the body from. I think it's a Pathfinder figure or something. But I got the butterfly wings from Reaper and went ahead and, oh, my brother's moving around in the background. Went ahead and glued those on. And if you want to know why, it's simple. It's because that will be a male muse. Muses don't always come as females. Sometimes they're males. Surprise, motherfuckers! What's up, my brother? Mm-hmm. I played the Japanese girl singing Erica.
Isn't that just adorable?
She is adorable. And actually, you know, I can't sing in a foreign language. So, I mean, smart. What's up, Crafting Gamer? How you doing?
What up, TCG?
Hungar says, what up, TCG? Because, you know. Yep, got the brother home. He's going to be here until Friday or Saturday. Saturday. So later on today, after the wife is off of work, we're going to play a game of Innis, which is one of my favorite board games of all time. And then I don't know what else we'll get into. I mean, you know. At some point, he needs to get his biannual ass whipping at Battletech, at least. You know. Why are you hovering over me, making faces and shit?
Because you know I'm going to win.
You say that every time.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Yeah, you say that every time.
I got to keep the hope alive.
Yeah, keep hope alive. Maybe I need to start letting you win every now and then so that you won't just give up on it.
I never give up.
Yeah, you already gave up when you chose to play Draconis Combine.
You know what? Eat a dick.
That's not very nice. That is not a very nice thing to say to your older brother. Now, consume a satchel full of Richards.
Ingest some Richards.
Ingest some Richards.
My good man.
My good man. Good sir. How about you ingest a satchel of Richards? See, that's pretty cool. But, you know, I expect more out of you, I guess. I got my headset on because I was listening to that video at the beginning and I didn't want to have you guys having to listen to a bunch of echoes.
Like what?
Echo, echo, echo. Yeah. Double D posted on that video and was like, I like your hat. And he's as Yankee as they come, ain't he? Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, it's only idiots that get their asses all bent out of shape over stuff like that. That's why in the Dukes of Hazzard movie, they had to take the flag off the top of the car, even though it was still like freaking bright orange with the 01. And it's like, really? It bothers me that the world is full of just so many thin-skinned, weak poussoirs that don't understand that everything in the world is not about them, and that it's not their business. Like, why would you be offended? That's like me being offended over, I don't know what I would be offended over. It's like that Indian guy that posts on Twitter all the time, and he's wearing a shirt that says Caucasians. Yeah. And he's always like, how would you feel? And I'm always like, well, I own that shirt, so I'd feel pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not offended by the shirt. I own the shirt. I've worn it out many times. Yeah. It's a cool shirt. I like it. It's got like this big face of a green-eyed, blonde-haired dude with a big grin on his face, and it just says Caucasians. It's like, so I don't know, because that kind of shit does not bother me at all. I literally just don't care. And when other people do care, I'm like, but why do you care? It's like, now these I got from a guy up in Canada, and they're pretty awesome, except I had to buy these metal rings for them so that my magnetized figures could actually be magnetized in the base, because otherwise you'd have to make sure that he has a little hole in there so you can put like a 2mm magnet, but that's not going to work. So anyway, yep, this is just me doing what I do.
It all started going downhill in 2022.
Bleak. Somebody just popped in. I'm going to bet it's Leth. May not be, but it could be. No, it's Vic, Scourge of Minnesota. The Scourge of the Northlands.
That'd be me.
How you doing, sir?
Just fine. Hey, started my Kickstarter today. Got it live. So
Nice.
Yeah.
That is good news.
Quick, in case anybody wants to see it.
Sure.
There you go.
Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Working on other nonsense.
Oh, okay. There we go. So let's see. Have you noticed that Kickstarter is in like Chinese a lot lately?
Yeah, I've noticed they do all the languages now.
So maybe I need to change the language or something, because every time I log on, it's all in Chinese. And I'm like,
yeah,
the hell is going on here, But anyway, let's share screen. And
I didn't know you were going Chinese on us.
I think I'm turning Japanese.
These are really things. So da 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 da.
So there is Vic's Kickstarter, guys. The Deck of Many Curses.
The Deck of Curses. Yep.
Yeah. A DM's dream and every player's nightmare. Yeah.
You don't want that being pulled out on you. That's for sure.
Well, if you're playing like a random dungeon and it's like, oh, there's a trap in this room, pull a card.
Yep. Here it is. Pull a card.
And
What
like,
do you mean?
okay. Hopefully it's
You done screwed up. Pull a card. You didn't put the tech traps. You didn't put the tech curses. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Check for magic. You're done.
You didn't bring a 10-foot pole.
Yep.
I love that meme. I posted it and freaking RPG Pundit reposted, but he stole it.
Yep.
He didn't give me credit.
I know how that is.
Huh?
I know how that is.
The 10-foot pole?
No, you constantly still.
Is that Hungar?
It is. He's in the kitchen complaining about how I always steal his memes.
Yeah, Captain Handax, we'll call him.
Yeah. Oh, I told him the story of the dwarf of Elven, or the axe of Dwarven,
The Axe of the Dwarvish Lords.
Oh, yeah.
Dwarven Lords. And I said, you're still pissy about that.
You know, there's just something you should bring up.
And then Big Rob jumped in and was like, I was there for that. Now he's just looking at me and shaking his head in
There's some things
disappointment.
that's just too soon.
Too soon? It's been 25 years.
Yeah, still too soon.
Still too soon. Okay.
I'm going to go lay down until Tracy gets off work.
You going to lay down till Tracy gets off work?
Yeah, and then we
Poor
can
Hungar.
watch dinner and what we're going to eat
Not.
or play
Yep, we'll think about dinner and we'll play Innis.
and other things.
Well, whatever you want, you know? Yeah. He rolled it all up fair and square. And I was like, nope. I am the DM, and that is not going to happen.
I'm the DM and you're my bitch.
I have that shirt somewhere.
I bought that shirt for you.
Yeah. I have a shirt that says, I'm the Dungeon Master, and you are all my bitches.
That makes you my bitches.
So
You also got a shirt that says I bring nothing to the table.
I do have a shirt that says, I bring nothing to the table.
I've bought you pretty much all your really cool shirts.
You bought me some pretty cool
That
shirts.
one you're wearing
I
right
got
now,
that
the
shirt,
Hungar
The
shirt.
DM smiling, so you're all dying.
Yeah. Get the one with the DM spanking the elf across his lap that says, call me Dungeon Daddy.
There are some good ones out there.
There's a few good ones out there. That's a fact. So, yeah, just working on a couple of miniatures for Talislanta.
You're gonna be on that Talislanta kick for about 6 months, man.
I've been on that Talislanta kick for freaking, if I hadn't deleted my videos for about
Left
7
is
years.
in the back, just so you know.
I see that. For about 7 years, actually.
Oh.
Or more. As well, as long as I've made videos.
Hello.
Hey, Lath, what is up?
Just
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I put my Kickstarter in, they approved it immediately. It must have been just in the queue waiting for me to get the thing. I was like, oh, this is nice. Hit the queue and it's ready to go. So
That is very cool.
now I just got to talk to my suppliers and get everybody up to date, ready to go, so that when I kick it off here pretty soon, then I can, as soon as I get past a certain dollar amount, I can just send over some do-re-mi and they'll start printing it up. And then when the final thing comes around, I can pay that off really fast, and then they'll start printing if I give them 50% up front.
nice.
Then they'll drop it on me when I give the final payment. They will immediately put a shipping container and send it over. So
Well, that's good.
none of this waiting around like like you do for some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, 6 months, a year. I mean, the only reason I put April on mine was because the or put it in April is because DaveCon is going to be coming up, and I just figured, well, if all those people are going to come to DaveCon, I'm going to just drop it on
Right.
there and save all the shipping and stuff. Say, here, hey, take this box of stuff home with you. You know.
Right.
So, and then I might drop some of those on the curse decks on people that are coming in and paying the high bucks for the convention, so they can go home with a little something to
Like a little
antagonize their
swag.
players,
Yeah, a little swag.
like you would do, James. I know you'd pull out the deck and just shuffle it up and put it right in front of somebody and go, pick one.
Well, I am a big fan of random
Yeah.
everything.
So am I. That's why
I do, yeah.
one of the things on here is it doesn't show it here, but one of the things I'm doing is, let's see if I can figure out how to do a screensaver.
There's our boy. I'm going to start calling him Timberwolf 352. Just because that's the clan name for the Mad Cat.
Let's see here. What does this do? Oh, screenshots.
Hey,
Screen
Vic,
share.
you got
Oh,
a
that's
good wild magic table?
Well, I mean, it's a wild magic trap, you mean? Like a trap that causes some crazy shit to go off? I'm sure he does.
Not trap, but wild magic searches. Like if your game has like wild magic that could happen if certain people cast certain spells if they're cursed or something.
Oh.
Everything's wild in my game.
Well, I also got starting on a deck of many encounters, so that when you're going to a city or something, sometimes it's just like, well, these are just, you would just fan out on the table and just like, pick one, everybody. This is what happens to you. This is the information you're given. And everybody gets to turn a card over and go, oh, crap.
Oh, crap.
Sorry about that. I'm over here.
One thing though, I thought I would like in like 5th edition when I first started playing was the wild magic sorcerer, but it sucks playing it. It's trash.
Well, I'm sorry you had that happen to you, bro.
Oh, speaking of 5th edition, Mike Merles is now following me on X. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh.
Mike Merles. Yeah, he's following you. He's following Double D. Like, now that he's no longer with the Wizards, I guess he's all like, I think he's unprogramming himself from the WOGC mindset over there. It must be like a little plague going around that office. You know what I mean? A little disease.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, and Chris Perkins is a perfect example of this, is they have to, hey, what's up, George? They have to kind of toe a certain set of beliefs, or else they get, gone.
Well, that Chris Perkins must be the what do you call those? The person who brings in the disease. What is the name of that? The
Patient
alpha
Zero?
carrier? Huh?
Patient Zero?
Patient Zero?
Patient Zero. There you go.
No, what Chris Perkins is he's the guy that has managed to adapt to the changing situation the best, so that he hasn't gotten fired no matter. Because, I mean, he was with TSR during AD&D 2nd edition times. Oh. He was with 3rd edition. And it's like, so Chris Perkins, he is just able to really, I guess, kiss a lot of ass and go along with whatever in order to keep his job, whereas other people just aren't. So you end up with, Like Merle's got bushwhacked when people found out he had spoken to the RPG pundit and Zach Smith when he was creating 5th edition. The fact that he had given them some money to be consultants, the freaking wasn't even Wizards of the Coast. It was like the supposed fan base lost their absolute mind. Merboy or Spineless, yeah. Yep, they just adopt whatever the views of the company are at any given moment and then hang in, you know? It's like, it's sad, I guess, but it is, you know, it is what it is. My wife works in the corporate world, so even though she don't have to really do it so much, I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when certain new corporate words come out and you start hearing about synergy and this and that, and the next thing you know, everyone's using these words because they're the new words that everyone uses. You know, it's like
The lingo.
yeah, it's like the corporate world has an ever-changing lingo and things that are whatever. And I remember when, this is 20 years ago, so I'm, you know, but I remember when the phrase "a breath of fresh air" first came out. And I remember making a video, I wish I hadn't deleted it now, of me just going off on that. Because I'm like, what does that even mean? A breath of fresh air. Like, you know, like STFU noobs. To say, you know, because they're talking about some version of a game, and I'm like, there's nothing fresh about this game. They just copied everything and then switched a few things around. And now you guys are going to act like they reinvented the wheel. You know, it's like, get out of here. But that's back when I used to be a much grumpier person, you know. Because I used to be a grumpy person. Luckily, I've gotten over a lot of that. Freaking Vic must go through keyboards like 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Actually, I've had this one for about 6 years, can believe it or not.
I believe it, even though, I mean, that must be the toughest keyboard I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
It's, what is this? It's a Logitech.
Logitech make pretty good keyboards.
Yeah, Logitech makes decent keyboards, huh?
Yeah.
I like
Now,
it.
now, mine's the same as yours. The A and the S are gone, and other letters are starting to be.
All the gamer letters on mine are gone. So ASW, freaking D is gone. The space bar is jacked up, you know. It's like the Z and the X are a little bit sketchy. It's like if it's a key that's used in any game, you know.
I won't have to worry about that. Mine aren't painted on the keys. They're clear and have LEDs under them.
Oh, look at you.
Ooh,
fancy.
fancy.
Yes.
Yeah, mine's just whatever came with this freaking Acer computer. No one looks at letters, but when you're playing first-person shooters or whatever, you know, for years you're not looking at the letters, but you're still rubbing your Cheeto fingers all over them.
Yep.
And then they end up, you know, one day you're cleaning your freaking keyboard, and you're like, damn, the ASWAD keys are completely gone, you know.
The WASD keys.
Yeah, because that's my movement keys. And
Yep.
then Q and E are my strafe left and right.
Yep.
When I used to be hardcore into Battlefield
FPSs.
3. Yeah, that was my. Who would you want to play Dritz if they made the film? I'm thinking Tom Cruise. I think, might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Tom Cruise would probably kill it. But he'd have to lose just a little bit of weight, probably.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, he's short enough to be a drow for sure. So that would actually be a benefit since he's
I
like
didn't
5'4"
think-
or some
yeah.
shit. And drow tend to be really, really short.
Okay then.
Or dro. It depends who you talk to. I've heard both, and I've heard both are right. I guess I don't know. I think Gary Gygax might have called him dro, but other people call him drow.
I think most people call them drow.
But
Don't
I mean,
think
if
I've
you
heard
want to
of
be
Drow.
technical, it should be dro.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, and supposedly they're not dark elves, they're some kind of Scottish troll. Now, if he'd wanted to name them what they should have been named, he would have called them Zvartalfs,
Swart
which
elves.
is
That sounds way
is-
cooler. We should rename the drow Swart elves.
Zvartelf. That is the Germanic or Scandinavian name of dark elves. That's literally what that means, black elves. And they were the bad ones. You had the Alfin and the Svartalfin. And the Svartalfin, I think, lived in Muspelheim, and they weren't good people, and whatever. But yeah.
I don't know. I introduced in the Dragon magazines. I've used the Winter Elves a number of times in my campaign, and my players are. I think they're more afraid of them than they are the Drow. But my players hate going underground. They absolutely loathe it.
Exactly. Violence solves everything. Like most things Germanic, whatever it sounds like is literally what it is. Svarta just means black, and Alfin means elf. So if you say Zvart elf, I mean, it just means black elf. But for whatever reason, our man Gary decided to take the name of a Scottish monster that is not an elf, but then make the Svart elves be named that name.
I gotta give credit where credit is part of this is due. Like a lot of that, they just went to the library and they started flipping through fairy tales and everything else, finding things to name stuff. So if there might have been something wrong in a book, they didn't know. They just used it anyways. I mean, that's what
I think he knew. He just was like, I'm not gonna make this shit so easy. You know what I mean? Like, nah, that shit's a little bit too predictable. Let's give them some kind of name that.
This is what Jim Ward said. When they were trying to do all the deities and demigods, they were pulling for everything they could to put everything together to make things, and then they just had to throw statistics at stuff. So
yeah, I know somebody was raising hell because they were super mad because apparently they were mad that you could kill Indra, and it's like, well, but could you? I mean, what kind of characters are you playing that they could ever kill Indra?
Well,
Yeah,
we've had this
especially in
discussion
AD&D.
before on here, there, Mr. James, and I always said if it's on the prime materia plane, sure, you can look like you killed it, but it actually went to its home plane, reconstituted itself. It'll be back.
And you know what? Forgotten
kind of
Realms
pissed.
did that, and I thought that was the way to go.
Yeah.
Like the deities live on an entirely different plane, but they are capable of taking on the form of avatars.
Right. That's basically what I call it.
And then if you defeat the avatar of Bane, well, good for you, but you didn't kill
Good
Bane.
job.
No, you didn't kill
He'll
him.
just come back and angry.
Yeah, he's going to remember.
Well, one of my groups once killed one of the evil gods, and I just said, "Oh, good, thank you. You just gave me a plot hook forever." Now every time they get near one of their temples, they send out their hordes to come and eliminate the party.
Well, yeah, because it's like if the story ever got around that this guy was responsible for committing such a heresy, it'd be like, but you people don't understand stuff. And it's like, me personally, in my homebrew, since I only had the one god really anyway, that deity had no stats and rarely spoke to anybody other than to allow clerics and paladins to have their spells, but that was it.
Well, there is the divine
yeah.
intervention in the DMG of the AD&D. I mean, you can roll. I tell the players, well, you can roll.
You can roll. Good luck. It's not going to
Yeah, I
happen.
think
but
you need to
try.
roll like 100 or a 99 or 100 or
Yeah,
some shit.
something like that.
You know, though, that there has been probably one person who's done that in their game.
I bet
Just
you
like
there's
one
been way more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, no, I'm not trying to dog you, Leth. I'm just saying, over the course of the last 40, 50 years, you know that 100 has come up
Yeah.
a few times.
It's come close in my game a couple times. It's like, I rolled a 96. Is that close enough? Get out the book, look at the numbers. What's your level of your player? Look at the number. Sorry, slap the book shit.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
dead.
you know what? I actually like the idea of that because I think it's just really good for the game, and especially if you have like this really badass cleric or something that okay, we're all getting ready to die, but I'm going to go for divine intervention, and it's like
Go for the Hail Mary.
yeah, it may not happen, but on that, 1% of the time when it does happen, you can bet the players are going to be talking about that till the end of time. That's going to be like one of the things that they're just like, that's just going to make a game is basically, I guess what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The whole game is just going to be all about that. Remember the time. And I like that. I really do. I like that kind of, weird, shouldn't happen, but it did anyway, kind of, stuff. Yeah. A lot of times, the best things in role playing games are the things that should never have happened, but somehow did. Yeah, because that's the stuff people remember. I mean, the day in, day out traveling to a dungeon and murdering orcs for gold. I mean, after a while, that becomes, just
mundane.
the norm. Yeah, that's mundane. Everybody knows we're going to go to this dungeon. We're going to find the monster in the dungeon. We're going to kill it. Okay, fine. But then something really weird happens. And then that's the shit that they're going to be like, remember that time? Like,
Oh, yeah. We got stories in our group. Let's see here. I got Eric is the guy who I'm sure I don't know if he's watching or not, but he is he decided to pet the woolly rhino. It's called the woolly rhino incident. You just let the player do something stupid. Then there's Ryan the Black, I call him. He wears black all the time. I don't know what it is. His car's black. He's got black car, black hair. Anyways, he rolled hangman trees and nearly killed the entire party.
what I want to know is, does Ryan the Black listen to a lot of Morrissey?
I don't know.
The Cure, maybe? Sisters of Mercy, he's just always...
I don't know. He's got some great stories. Like one of the things he did was go to Winnipeg, Canada once, and with his mom's car, and it got stolen up there.
I was just wondering if Ryan the Black was like a goth guy.
He might have been when he wasn't married. I mean,
right?
You know how marriage does that to you.
See, I wouldn't know. I got married. I still listen to The Cure. I still listen to Sisters of Mercy. I still,
Oh, yeah.
Petting a woolly rhino sounds like a different type of role play.
No, George. First time he's playing AD&D. This is the story. We're leaving an encampment out on the plains of the pyramids or Perma. I don't remember how to say the word. But anyways, we're leaving, and the first thing we encounter is a woolly rhino. And he goes, first time playing, he goes, "Can I go pet it?" And I'm just like, okay. I don't care. You can go try. He's a thief. I say, roll, move silently. He managed to make the roll. He rolls it. He moves silently. He walks up behind the rhino, decides to pet it. And as soon as he touches the rhino, boom, the rhino turns around and gores him. That was
Perfection.
I've let players do what they want to do. If you want to do something stupid, go for it.
You know, the sad thing is that while I cannot speak for woolly rhinos, actual rhinos, the ones that live on Earth right now, in zoos, zookeepers say that they're like big puppy dogs.
I
Like
believe
once
it.
they get to know you and they know your smell and stuff,
Yeah.
they're like big puppies. Now in the wild, they just stab first and think about it later.
Right.
But
But
they
I-
said that has a lot to do with the fact that their eyesight sucks.
But here's what I
So
was
they always choose violence initially.
here's what I was thinking though. You're sneaking up on a wild animal in the wild and you go up there and pet it. Okay, what's the animal gonna do? It's gonna swing around with those big horns and do something.
You know, but here is, I'm going to counter that. Here is a thought though. It may not have even noticed.
Well,
If he had walked up on it and pet it kind of gently and then just wandered back, that rhino may not have even noticed he was there. I mean, they're half blind.
I know.
Yeah.
But if it did notice, you're 100% right. It's going to assume he's something out to kill it and react accordingly
Right.
because that's how rhinos do. Even
Wow.
though the only thing in Africa that can effectively really kill a rhino is an elephant,
Yeah.
and usually it's through SA. Like young bull elephants will SA rhinos, and sometimes they die.
Oh, well.
That's kind of sad, right?
Yeah. Well.
I remember a rhino at the Bronx Zoo running around. I could feel the earth shake. Oh yeah, yeah. But like the people, we have a big zoo in Jacksonville, and the people who like take care of the rhino, I petted a rhino because the zoo people were there and they kind of called it over, and this thing's head is like you know what I mean, massive. And they're like, just feed it this stuff, and you're handing it the freaking grass and petting him, and you know, but that rhino had been raised in captivity, you know.
Oh yeah.
And it knew those zookeepers and loved them, and that's what they said. They said they look mean, but they're actually big puppy dogs once they get to know you. You know,
Oh, I believe
because I mean, they're herbivores. They're not really hostile animals. It's just everything in Africa wants to kill them. So their initial, you know what else is like that, bro, is a donkey. A donkey will always choose violence in any situation because it's weird. It's like they're a prey animal, but they could still break your freaking neck. So they're like, no, I'm not running. It's going to be violence. And that's what they do. I love me. My wife was talking about, for Christmas, I want a pony. And I said, you better not talk shit because I know where you can pick up a donkey for $500. You'll wake up and there'll be a donkey standing in the backyard and you'll be like, what the F is this? And I'll be like, hey, couldn't get you a miniature horse, but there's a donkey for you.
Yeah. I don't think your HOA is gonna like it there, James.
No, I don't think so. I think my HOA don't even let us like own chickens.
Well, that's one of those things when you move up to Kentucky, Tennessee, you can get her something up there to,
Yeah.
Yeah, we already got horses and everything up there, so
she can have all the little critters she wants up there. My girlfriend said to me, "Oh, hey, I like these otters," and I'm like, "Oh God, what do I need to do?"
Like, nope. Give that up. Just don't even.
Well, she also likes horses, and I'm like, I've told her from day one, I don't buy an oat burner. I'm not buying an oat burner for her.
I don't know. See, horses are awesome. But then again, my family, we always owned horses.
Right.
So I grew up with horses. Horses are a thing. But you don't want to deal with an otter at all.
Well, she was like, oh, they're so cute and this and that. And I took her to what's the zoo over here in Tampa? Busch Gardens. I took her to Busch Gardens, and they got the lorikeet cage over there. Well, I went in there with her, and oh my God, it was like I handed her 2 little things of that. What do you call that? The nectar, and she's holding them, and she gets mobbed. She's got like 20 lorikeets hanging off of her, and I'm just like laughing about it because I didn't bring anything in there. And she's like, maybe we should have some lorikeets when we move to Florida. I'm like, I don't want a bird. I don't
want a bird.
The only bird you need to own is a hen. And I've told you the story. I used to own a big ass umbrella cockatoo and all that.
Yeah.
And I used to be into parrots, and now I think, I don't know, maybe I become a hippie, but I basically got to the opinion that wild parrot type birds and shit like that need to be left wherever they're from.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason to mess with them. They're way too smart, to want to own. But you get a little hen or 2, and they'll be just as good a pets, if not better.
Yeah.
They'll never bite your face half off or take a thumb.
Yeah.
So I mean, they won't destroy the whole house. They won't eat heavy metals in your windowsill and almost die and cost you hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. I mean, I could go on and on with the joys of owning parrots, which are no joys.
My problem with that is that they are how do I want to say this? They're just too long lived. I mean, you're just, who are you going to find to take care of them after you die and everything else?
That's a great way of saying it. Imagine having a 7-year-old for 120 years.
Right.
Because they have about the intellect of a 7-year-old, but no emotional control at all. So, if they get it in their mind, they want to eat your ass up, you're getting ate up.
Yeah.
And they live 100+ years. So, yeah, there's no need for that. And whereas a chicken, you can have a chicken for a pet, and if you want to, you could eat it. And also it'll lay eggs, and it'll follow you around the yard, and it'll, you can sit on a porch and watch it act like a retard and laugh at it. And I mean, they're just good little animals. If you're going to own a bird, just get you a little hen.
I've done the research on that stuff when I was contemplating having a little farm, and then there are people telling me, get a guinea hen, and I'm like, oh God.
Well, I mean, they're Italian hens, right?
Yeah, right. Get this, get that, and I just look at it, I'm just like, no.
Dude, they got Dago hens or WAP hens? I look at you like, I hate you.
Yeah. No, if I was gonna have a little farm, I think I'd be ducks, some chickens, and a couple geese.
My oldest daughter has I can't even think of the number of ducks she has.
Oh.
It's like just a field of white running around, raising hell all the time. But she loves them. Like, she absolutely loves them little bastards. And it's like, okay. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life, who am I to say no? Nobody. I'm nobody to say no. So by all means, love your ducks and whatever. But for me, little hens. Well, actually, they don't gotta be little. They could be like a Rhode Island or something like that. But hens, they're just nice. They just kind of hang out. The only negative is if you let them in the house, they'll probably poop on stuff. But you know what? So will a parrot.
Well,
Like a cockatoo, if you're holding a cockatoo on your arm walking through the house, it'll shit just whenever it wants.
right. Well, I was watching a video here lately. Lady walks outside, grabs a hen, walks back in, holds the hen up to the spider. She won't get near it. She'll put the hen right up to the spiders, and she'll walk around her house and getting all the spiders, and walks the hen back and throws it out in the yard. Like,
Well,
okay, well,
they are truly whatever's left of the dinosaurs,
Yeah.
and they will eat anything that they can fit in their bill.
oh yeah.
Like
I've
if
seen
it'll
guys-
fit in their bill, they'll eat it.
I've seen guys throw roadkill in with in videos. They've thrown roadkill in with a chicken coop, and the chickens will clean that carcass right off. So
I was watching a guy up in Alaska, and he killed some kind of animal, and he hung like a haunch of it up in his chicken coop,
yeah,
so that when it started rotting and it got larvae on it and stuff, the
Uh-huh.
chickens would eat it.
oh yeah,
So it was like a self-feeder for his chickens
oh sure.
in a way, which I thought it was absolutely horrific and disgusting. But hey,
I've seen
know.
chickens chase mice before,
oh yeah,
especially baby mice. They'll just cut them down in a heartbeat. So
yeah.
it's
Well,
another form of rodent control.
this guy lived way, way up in the hinterlands of Alaska. He was one of the natives that lived up there.
Hmm.
So I thought, well, if he's doing it, he probably knows,
Yeah, well,
what he's up to here. So it's not like I can judge him too much because, I mean, he's the one living up in that place, right? And like, I've been there, but never like where he is,
there's so many ways to raise chickens, though. I mean, I've watched so many videos and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, you don't need to have fences with them. As long as they know where the roost is every night, they're just like,
That's 100% a possibility. Yeah, if you can raise your chickens free range around a farm, as long as they know where their hutch is at night,
yeah.
they'll go to it. I mean,
Well,
but
same with turkeys. Turkeys are the same way. You pen them up for a while, and then they know, oh, this is where I'm roosting at. This is where in. Then you throw electric fence around them, and if they're the big fat white ones that don't have any wings that can fly, and
Yeah.
they're just that's where we're at. So, I mean, I
now
look at
we
that-
always kept our chickens in a fenced-in area because there's so many things in the area that want to eat them
well, yeah.
that aren't us.
Oh.
So,
I was watching a video. The guy said get some black chickens and put them in there with anything else, and the black ones will drive away the eagles and the hawks because they think they're ravens. The red-tailed hawks and them will think they're ravens. So, and ravens and eagles and hawks do not get along at all. So,
and ravens, like I'm sure you've seen a real raven before in your life.
oh yeah,
It ain't like a crow.
no,
I mean, it is identical to a crow, basically, except it's massive. It's like a giant crow. These things, I've seen ravens that could stand 18 inches,
oh yeah.
2 feet tall. I mean, and
My girlfriend feeds them right out here in the backyard.
oh yeah, they're amazing animals. All the corvises are, though. All the corvises, which includes, believe it or not, blue jays.
Oh, we got blue
Yeah.
jays.
Blue jays are members of the corvus family. They are
Oh, yeah.
directly related to the raven and the crow.
Smart as a whip, though. The blue jays are. You don't think they're smart, but they are. They are very smart.
Oh, they'll get into anything. They're brutal too. They'll eat other eggs. They'll eat other birds' eggs. They'll raid squirrel nests to try and eat baby squirrels. I mean, they just are no F's given animals. Blue jays, which is why I like them. Down here we got a ton of them, and it's just like it's down here. It's rare to see a raven. Like you'll see a lot of crows. and
Yeah.
you'll see blackbirds, which are nothing like a crow.
Right.
But you won't see the big ravens down here, but blue jays everywhere, you know. And so that's cool. Whereas up in where I'm from, up there you see a good mix. You know,
Mhm.
you'll see ravens hanging out, and I would love to have one of those as a pet, but I'm not willing to actually go out and try and run one down. That's my problem.
Right.
You know,
Well,
it's
they
like,
do have these exotic animal farms. There's one here in Minnesota that I think it's down in Faribault, Minnesota, or
if I found one injured, I would raise it back to health and keep it. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not messing with it. So, yep, Hungar decided to take a nap after we talked about the axe. He was like, I'm just going to go take a nap. I've had enough of this shit. You know, he's like, still too soon, he says, to talk about.
too soon.
Oh,
It's like,
son.
really?
You need to get him a T-shirt for Christmas. My brother stole my axe.
Right? For real.
That way, when he holds it up at Christmas time, you know, you can get a chuckle out of it, and he wears it around.
Like,
Or you
I
can
could have had an axe of the Dwarven Lords, but all I got was this stupid throwing axe.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
I have an axe to grind with my brother.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. That would be a good one. I have an axe to grind.
Just something for him to wear, you know.
Yeah. That would be a good one for him. He'd get it too. He'd get the joke, you know. He'd be like, ah.
But that's half the fun of it, is to make him go, all right, yeah, I'll wear this next time we play.
Well, one thing though about my brother is he was always like, he was a no problem kind of guy to run a game for. Like, he might argue a little bit about something, but if you're like, no way, he was like, okay, fine. He didn't like go on and on about it, you know. And I've had players that just wanted to go on and on about it. I've had players that I've had to take out in the backyard and physically prove to them that what they want to do cannot be done.
Oh, I've had to pull out the book before and go, here's the rule. Take a look.
Yeah, the problem is what he wanted to do was technically in a book that I guess was a rule book. But it was in the 3rd edition Fighter and Bard book.
Yeah.
And he decided he wanted the monkey grip great swords.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you're not monkey gripping great swords. I don't give a shit if it's in the book or not. And then he got really upset because he's like, well, it's in the book. And I'm like, I don't care. There will be no monkey gripping great swords around here. I am, you know, it's how it is. And he did not like any part of that.
Oh.
And
they have to use any book they want, especially for a setting.
Yeah, see, he didn't
making
even
sense.
ask me if it was cool to bring that book into the game. He just showed up with this book and was like, okay, I've got this book and now I'm going to get this ability. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. And he was very, very still angry about it, I think. Well, that and this happened so long ago. He's got a couple of things to be mad at me, like I stole his girlfriend, but also wouldn't let him monkey grip. And I don't know which one he's probably more pissed off about.
Probably the girlfriend thing.
Don't care.
You would hope. Just a terrible girlfriend.
Well, I mean, she dumped him.
I know.
Well, then there's
My crime was that I got with her like 6 months later and it pissed him off.
Oh, well.
It's like, well, you know, gamer girls are rare, bro.
Yeah.
I've already been married to 2 women that hated games. I'm not doing that again. I mean, to quote the Professor Dungeon Master, don't date a chick if she hates D&D.
Oh yeah.
You're better off just breaking up and going and trying to find some other chick, because if you're a hardcore D&D player and you love Dungeons and Dragons, but the person you marry thinks it's like, you know, big nerd shit, then you are not going to have a happy life. Because even if you quit the game to try and make her happy, you're still going to think about it.
Oh yeah. You're gonna live that down forever.
And then, you know, eventually you're just going to have to face the fact that you miss the game and you want to play the game. But how do you play the game without pissing your girlfriend off? And it just gets super complicated. And yeah, there's just no help for it. So marry a woman that also likes games. And then you're made in shade with some lemonade. It's all good, man. You like games? I like games. We can play games. Right. Somebody said something on Discord. I heard the beep. Probably somebody being like, "You're full of shit."
You're full of shit.
And I'm like, well, maybe. But yeah, after having made that spicy video yesterday, I'm kind of like, nah.
D&D's for women now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that idiot. You know, there's women out there that can deadlift 450 pounds. Can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, but the championship for men can deadlift almost 1,100.
Actually, I seen it 11:0. I think 5 was that.
Yeah.
And it was like an Icelander.
Yeah, it was like, so which one is the 1800? Is it the female or the male? You know?
Male there.
well, I got in an argument once with a guy. So we're sitting on the dock, and he's like, "Oh, I need to go get the forklift of this thing," and I'm just like, I looked at him and I said, "No, we don't." And he's like, "Yes, we do." I said, "No, we don't." And I looked at him and he goes, "You're never going to move that pallet from one side of the trailer to the other." Well, it was in the middle sort of. And I just went, watch. I went down, got on my back, or not on my back, but my legs between the pallet and the wall of the trailer. And I just used my legs. Pushed it all the way across. And I said, all right, now let's keep going here.
Oh yeah, you can do that. I mean, I've moved heavy shit exactly that way. Just use the natural
leverage and
leverage that you
Leverage
have.
motion. Yep. Oh man.
It's not a
But-
Good thing is, I got an argument with some of my friends because they wanted to say what was that one female MMA fighter, the like really good one, saying that she could beat that Irish guy.
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda
Yeah, probably
Rousey
Ronda Rousey.
against McGinnis or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
McInnes.
Oh my god.
I was like, "There's no way."
I'd pay to see that.
I don't think she would live after that.
Ah, shit. It'd be all
You
right.
know what? If you're
Yeah,
being
right.
tied one of his arms, his dominant arm behind his back, I would give Ronda Rousey a half a chance.
Chance.
Yeah, that guy.
About a half a chance.
These guys were arguing that he'd be slower and couldn't hit her, and
Oh,
she'd so
BS.
much faster. It's like, no, that's not true at all.
That's actually not the way it works.
No, I tried to tell them this. It's like they just wouldn't listen.
There is a weird thing with some nerd dudes where they actively have this weird fantasy of like the gigantic muscle mommy that can beat them up.
Yeah,
And I
it's
don't know
really-
what that is all about. But it is a thing. It is a thing, you know?
I could see the tomboy type of girl.
Yeah, but no, I'm not talking about the tomboy. I'm talking about the woman that's got the body.
I
of
know.
Arnold
I'm just sitting here
Schwarzenegger.
like, no thanks. It's like that one from I told you that one girl from Unicorn Overlord, the 9 foot tall muscle bound woman that was possessed by her dad.
Yeah, there used
I'm
to be a
like, that's
web
weird.
comic, and
Terrifyingly
I
weird.
read some of this web comic. You've probably read it, where like a half orc or an orc woman captures a male like knight,
Oh yeah, I've seen that because I
and
used to scroll
like
throughout a lot of that D&D
yeah,
stuff, and
and
that's
like
another thing.
the half orc is like just gigantic and muscled up and whatever. And the whole thing is the knight's dating the half orc, and it's just like, what am I watching here? You know, like, but it is a fact. It is a fact. There is, for some
There's
reason,
people in
nerds
favor of that.
who want to see, and it's men. It's generally not women.
No,
It's typically the nerdiest of nerdy men. And I'm a nerdy man, but these guys, they're just weird, right?
they're just weird.
And they want to see the muscle mommies and all that shit. And it's like, that's a weird fantasy to have, you know?
That is a weird one.
Like when I was young, the hottest thing I thought I'd ever seen was the cover of the combo module that had G1 through Q1 in it. And it had like the Drow Queen sitting on a throne in like a one-piece bathing suit that was all like spider web looking. And I was like, damn, that Drow's hot. But she was not like extra big or anything. She was just a hot-ass Drow chick.
Yeah, and it's just like the kind of like the what you call it. I'm trying to remember what they called it, but I can't.
Except what they did in that cover, which I believe was Metzer, or not Metzer, Elmore, is they made the Drow brown skinned.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. It's a lot of anime do that. They
Yeah,
make the brown skinned and not
instead of that
gray skin.
obsidian black or onyx black, they were kind of brown skinned, and they all had like 80s hair, and they were all wearing like high heeled boots.
Yeah,
And it
that
was
is
like,
very anime-esque, I'd say.
it was done in a realistic kind of
Yeah,
way.
I know.
But
Fair, but maybe that's where the anime got it. That's where anime got it. That has to be it.
But yeah, it was a bunch of it was some Drow women, and then like a couple of fire giants, and they were all on the cover. It was the Gray Book, because after they put out D1,
Is that the
2,
25th
3,
anniversary one, James?
it might have the same cover on it, but the one I'm talking about is just the original. Remember, like, I think during the second edition reign, they started combining all the adventures into like gray books that would have all the different adventures together.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was just trying to look through my collection here quick.
See
To
if
my
you had
right
it,
here.
or see where you had it or something.
Yeah.
I know I got it somewhere. It's just, where is it? I did find one that would piss off Hungar, though. I found my Axe of the Dwarvish Lords one, second edition.
He'd be fine. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly.
I still like my swords from the Flayn campaign. Prologue and Epilogue were awesome.
That's good names for a bard that dual wields Prologue and Epilogue.
Yeah. I was happy I came up with that. I was like, I want it to be bard-like, and I want them to pair up well. I was like, Prologue, Prologue and Epilogue, yeah, that works.
It does, actually. That's very witty of you. I would say. Very witty. But, yeah, poor Hungar. And his never-ending angst over not getting that freaking axe.
I still think you need to get the 3 shirt for Christmas.
Yeah.
Just to tease him a little bit.
Have one made that just says, my brother owes me an axe or something.
Yeah.
I got an axe to grind with my brother.
That would be a good one.
I was promised an axe, and all I got was this shitty shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
I rolled up an axe of dwarven the Dwarf Lords, but all I got was a shitty T-shirt.
Yeah, there.
That would be a good one. But like I said, Hungar was always easy to run any game for because he understood that as the GM, my word is law. So he, like, if other players wanted to argue with me, he would always step in and tell them, shut the hell up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Be like, we're trying to play a game here. Shut the hell up. You know, he made the ruling. That's just how it is. So get over it and move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he always did, which is not to say out of game he didn't hold grudges, but in game he was, you know, absolutely a sweetie pie about it. So I appreciate that. He's a good player. He actually, even Shauner, before he passed, rest his poor soul, said that Hungar was a good player. Apparently, he watched Hungar playing in somebody's game and was like, yeah, Hungar's a good player. And then he watched me running a Conan game live and said, you know what? DM James is actually a pretty good DM. And I was like, well, holy shit, high praise, right?
Yeah.
Because all he ever did is like look at other people's videos and talk about how much they suck. But I was a pretty
Actually-
good DM.
Actually pretty good at this.
Yeah. Not that I ever did anything. All I did is tell Haas's Hungar what his character saw, and then he would tell me what his character did, and then we would just move on from there. You know, it was like
People need to know that their characters are the driving force of the story and not the backseat driver on their own character, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you don't want to be an NPC in your own story. Hey, Jose, how you doing? It's like, if you're the player character, then you would think, want to be the main character in the story. Or if you're in a group of people, then, you know, you split who's what and when, but that doesn't change the fact that, you know,
it's more that they just need to know that they have agency and the DM's not the one driving the story. They're not reading out a story.
Here's the sad thing is that more DMs need to tell the players that they're good players. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them are like, I think I'm good. Well, you're not.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you know, I think a lot of that comes from, like you said, just a total lack of communication that goes on sometimes with people. It's like, yeah, talk to your players, let them know what works and what don't work and what's this and that and the other. And then, let them go. But whatever you do, in my opinion at least, I just do not like when the DM feels like they have to lead the players by the nose from one scene to the next.
Oh God. I have given how am I gonna say this? I've given him so many hints. It just like it goes right over the head. You know, it's just like, what am I gonna do next? You know what I mean? So
It's kind of why I like Clan. It is a good, like, you know, the Pool of Radiance game actually is a pretty good starter for a group of players, you know, just starting out. Because it drops you into a city and goes, here's some things you can do. Go do what you want.
well, that's why I've made the deck of many encounters. It's mainly city stuff where you're in the city and you throw out you go around, have everybody pick a card, and it's like, okay, what's your card say? This, and it's like, oh, okay, well, and then I tell a little story to go with that card, and I let everybody sort of think about what they want to do, and then they've all got these hooks, these plot hooks that they're gonna do.
You're a crazy person. He's just yelling about the end of the world. What do you do about that? No, that's weird.
Yeah.
See if he needs help.
Well, I can. You mean give me a number, Leth. 1 through. Let's see here. 1 through 50 right now.
29.
29 is a monk looking. A monk is looking for an escort to a monastery some distance away.
Neat. I'd take that. Let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, some old monk comes up to you in the city and says, "Hey, I'm looking for a hire an adventurer to go to a monastery some distance away." And you're like, "Oh, well, it's a plot hook. You know, it's just something the DM can use really quick and go, hey, let's go." You know. I mean, I've got 50 plus of them right now, but 50 is a good number because that's what I've got 1 through 50. I probably got 52 right now. So, I mean, there's like the bard sings a song about a fair maiden sleeping in a forest waiting for a prince. It has a familiar ring to places the party has been before, or you've been before. You know what I mean?
I know what our next adventure is going to be. We got to find this fair maiden.
Well, I mean, I mean, you got to use what you can use. You know what I mean? James, give me a number. I don't know what to wait for.
Oh, he's muted again, or
give me another number.
32.
32. Looking for an escort. Pilgrims looking for an escort into the desert to a sacred shrine. So,
See if we could get James's audio back, because apparently he was.
Yeah, we can't hear James. We can talk smack about him right now. Maybe.
We'll sit here until Hungar was right. He should have gotten that
Hungar
axe.
was always right. That James is just. We can't hear you, James. We're talking smack about you. So can't hear you. We'll tell you things like your wife is,
Try turning it off and on again. That usually fixes it.
Yeah. Nope, can't hear you.
No.
Nope. Plug stuff back in. We're talking smack about James. Oh, his wife's going to sell his complete collection to us for $1.
Yeah.
No, we can't hear you, James. Something's not right. Nope.
Make sure you didn't hit the mute button again or something. Maybe the mute went back on.
Nope, can't hear you.
I got it.
There you go.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
That's so weird because it just randomly happens while I'm streaming.
You got Chinese.
It randomly moved to. Yeah.
You know?
I don't know why it does that. Maybe you accidentally hit a keybind that you didn't know about or something.
I wasn't even near it. I was digging around I have a thing with 3 drawers underneath the table here. And I was actually digging through there looking for a bald head.
Well, maybe you got a ghost in your house.
I doubt it. I don't really believe in ghosts.
But do you believe in goblins?
Goblins are different, though.
I was making a joke because
if you're talking about the ones in Hellier County, I mean, that's totally plausible. I mean, people call them goblins, but if you think about it, they're just as likely the moon-eyed people the Cherokee talked about, which were, little pale-skinned, big-eyed people who lived in forts and underground and hid from the sunlight. So
my girlfriend is into all those freaky videos and stuff online, on YouTube and stuff. So yeah. I'm always giving her crap about it. I say, I know I heard something. Well, that's you attracting all the ghosts from listening to that stuff. It's just like, shut up, it is not.
Well, you can really mess with her and tell her, hey, any time you think you're hearing a ghost, and when she says yes, say it's probably a demon.
Yeah,
it's probably a demon.
Because ghosts probably don't exist because the dead probably ascend to their righteous reward, whether it's up or down. But demons, on the other hand, they like to hang out and get involved in whatever you're doing. That's kind of their whole angle, you know?
The whole shtick.
So, but yeah, the goblins in Hellier County, I mean, there's likely as not. There's as much evidence that they exist as there is that they don't. So, I mean, you know. And people will be like, well, in order for something to be something, you have to prove it exists. And it's like, I don't seem...
Not necessarily. There's a lot of species that we thought were either extinct or did not exist that do.
That do, right. That's exactly the point. You know, it's like well,
I mean, again, the coelacanth was thought to be extinct for millions of years. We found it.
We found it. And apparently they taste terrible.
Yeah, they taste terrible. That's the first thing we thought about, eating it, as soon as we figured out it exists.
Well, the Africans, I think, on the East Coast would catch them, and they try to eat them, and they're like, oh, my God, these things suck. Like, I'm not going to eat this. And then some European scientists happened to be at a African fisher market, and they saw coelacanth on a table, and they're just like, the fuck, you know, this thing's supposed to be extinct, and you've got one on a table. What's even going on here? James, in ancient Aramaic, the word demon means literally liar. Yeah, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't believe that, Jose, because you have to remember there are numerous times in the Bible where people speak specifically of unclean spirits or fallen angels, etc.
Heck, there's been demon possessions in the Bible.
Right. When
I gotta go there.
Jesus talks about, see you, man. Legend or legion. I mean, he's talking about a specific thing, and not a liar, but you know, a poor man who had been possessed. So yeah, but and also I think it was spelled different too. There was an A in it at one point. If we're talking the Greek spelling, it's I think Deamon. Or is it Dae? Yeah, you know.
You guys got me off on a tangent, and I was like, huh. And I went and looked, and I didn't know Michael Morlock is still alive. He's like 85 or something like that right now.
You know, that dude was in like a metal band?
No. This is the writer who wrote...
I know exactly who you're talking about. Elric, he was also in a metal band called Hawkwind.
Yeah. Yep. I just read that. I was just like, wow. So.
Yep. He was in the metal band Hawkwind. He was running around doing all this stuff.
Yep. Says here he spends half the year in Texas, the other half in Gay Paris. You know, so.
I don't know why he'd want to go to Paris, but hey, I'm not going to judge the guy.
No.
If he wants to hang out in Paris, someone is obeying a liar. Well, yeah, but I mean, like if I tell you a story, then I'm a liar. But what we're talking about is something completely supernatural. But one of the ways you can tell them is they do lie. Unless telling the truth will cause more damage, in which case they tell the truth. But if you want to see the perfect movie describing the whole thing, watch Nefarious. Nefarious is such a good movie about demonic possession that, like, the head exorcist of the Roman Catholic Church watched it and said, yep, that's pretty much dead on. So, you know. Meanwhile, the Pope's exorcist, the head exorcist of the Roman Catholic Church, says that was garbage. Absolute trash. He hated it. But yeah, Nefarious has it's one of those minor movies by really minor kind of film crew, but it ended up, I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this movie. And what's weird is I won't try and run it for you guys, but nothing happens really. The basis of the movie is two guys sitting at a table talking. And yet it manages to be creepy as shit. You know what I mean? It's like you got one guy on one side of the table, another guy on the other side of the table. They're talking about shit, and it's still creepy. It's like, I don't think I like any of this. None of this is good. And yeah. And it covers some stuff that, you know. But anyway, it's a good movie. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to preach or anything like that. I'm just saying Nefarious was a very good movie, in my opinion. I mean, but then again, I watch Event Horizon like 8 times a month. So, you know, you draw your own opinions about my, you know, credibility when it comes to talking about what is or is not good movies. I mean, there are people out there that'll tell you Event Horizon's like the worst movie ever made. And I will say those people are wrong. And the worst part about Event Horizon, as a lot of people will attest alongside me, is that there was a director's cut and it was stored in like the Czech Republic or some shit and got destroyed.
Ooh.
So we will never, ever, ever know what the director's cut was or what all the additional footage was. But apparently it was very much the gore, because when the guy actually showed the movie to the executives, they were like, yeah, you need to get rid of some of this gore, man. This shit is, you know, a little bit out there. But the whole point of the movie was the gore, because it's like they sent a starship to hell and it came back.
Oh, you got him.
Yeah, you send a starship to hell, and 7 years it comes back from hell. Of course, it's going to be gory.
See, that seems excessive to me because I happen to know the PATH train goes to hell.
Mm-hmm. Marta. Well,
I always thought when I get to a nursing home, I want to have some Bluetooth speakers hooked up to my phone. I'm going to run around with the soundtrack for AC/DC Highway to Hell going.
Yeah, if you don't live in Atlanta, you don't know what MARTA is.
Is MARTA the transit system out there?
It is, but
Yeah,
there's a nickname to it.
Don't have any idea.
Moving African Americans rapidly through Atlanta.
Oh.
MARTA. Because it's got 2 A's.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I've been on that train before when I was in the Army. And yeah, it's pretty much, that's what it is. It's like,
I know it was a transit system. That's all I knew because I've driven through there 1,000 times. But
yep, that's MARTA. But I wonder why ghosts come to annoy me instead of creeping on evil people of the world. I got opinions, but I'm keeping them to myself.
Plead the fifth.
Pleading the fifth on that. Now I am finishing up the clothes on these Persian guys that are going to be sitting in the back of an elephant in the actual howdah or whatever they call it. Yeah. Like I've got my copper out so I can do the copper colored helmet that the guy with the spear has.
Yeah. No one uses
Couple of
war
archers.
elephants anymore. It's a shame.
Huh?
No one uses war elephants anymore. It's a shame.
Well, because a 50 cal Barrett would be the
Yeah,
end of
I
that shit.
haven't used a war elephant in a D&D game in forever. I gotta think about that. That might be a fun little thing to throw at the players. What
Is
do you
a
mean
war
an elephant?
considered a technical?
Right. It's got like a, well, I mean, during the Sudanese War, the British Sudanese sepoys basically would mount Vickers machine guns on camels. So you would literally have a camel with a guy sitting on the back of the camel with a machine gun mounted on the camel. And it's like, okay, that's
Did they
crazy
use
Help
the
ass
the
shit.
camel with the
Did they
dust.
use a special 2-hump camel so they could use the front one as like
Yeah,
a turret?
dromedaries or whatever.
Yeah.
And then in World War II in Russia, the Cossacks would mount Maxim machine guns on the back of wagons, like horse-drawn wagons,
I believe it.
and literally run them right up to the front line and turn around and be like, "Da, da, 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 da."
There is a Vespa with a bazooka built into it.
Yeah, I saw the Vespa that had the recoilless rifle on it.
Yeah, the French built that one, didn't they? Or the
Yeah, I originally thought it was the Italians, just because that seems such a very Italian thing to do. But it turned
yeah, I
out
think it was
wasn't
a
them. I
French
think it was the French.
novelty there.
See, Jose Pablo, what you're talking about is really like weird to me because I'm Orthodox. So, like, if a witch tried to put any kind of magic on me, I would just say the Jesus prayer and cross myself, and that would be the end of it. And the same with demons, because a demon cannot stand to be in the presence of somebody saying the Jesus prayer. So, yeah, we're pretty much good against all that. But if you're a denomination or Roman Catholic or something, it gets more difficult because you're further removed from the apostolic what's it called when you get something from someone who died? Inheritance. Yeah. So basically, Orthodoxy is the first in line, then Roman Catholicism, and then it goes through all the Protestants until you end up with some Protestant religions that have absolutely zero apostolic authority because they don't even accept the Trinity and stuff, you know. And those people, that's why you never see movies with like Calvinists trying to, you know, exorcise demons and shit because they couldn't if they want to. They have no authority. But anyway, Nerdy Ogre, what is up? But then again, that's our touch on religion for the day. And we can get back to talking about horrible things we would do to people in D&D. I mean, I remember one time I was running that freaking dungeon that everybody hates, but I kind of like. What is it? The Tomb of Horrors?
Oh, the Tomb of Fuckery, yes.
Yeah, and Hungar's thief character stuck his head in the mouth of the green demon to see if he could see what was
Is that the
inside
Seed
of
of
it.
Annihilation one?
Yeah, so his character was just instantly dead, but I didn't tell him. It's like you stick your head in and everything's black. And like, so then everyone else is like, he's just got like his upper half in the thing, right? And eventually one of the other players grabbed him and pulled him out, and it was like, and then blood started coming out because he'd been bleeding the whole time, but the blood had been going into the spirit. And they're like, what the hell? And Hungar's like, I guess I'll be making a new character. And I was like, got one for you, bro, right here, because I made photocopies of all the characters in the back. So that I could
just have a few spares with that module.
Yeah, just hand them out. Just be like, there you go, man. It's all right. Don't
Was there
worry about it.
anything to fight in that other than the gargoyle? I think it's pretty much all traps, isn't it?
I hear a cat.
Yeah, it's butters.
There were a few things you could fight, but yes, there were a lot of stupid traps and a lot of you got to move the crystals a certain way so that, you know, this door has to be on this color, otherwise they'll teleport you to some other place.
Yeah, use none of the silly-looking gates in that module. They're all going to make you unhappy, one way or another.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole point of it, though. I mean, when Gary Gygax made the adventure, the whole point of it was that was supposed to be a tournament adventure used with the characters in the back of the adventure that would be able to judge exactly how good, based on how far along you got in the dungeon you were. And and I've seen people run that at tourneys back in the 80s, and then you got points determined by how many rooms you got through and how many of the challenges you beat, and also how many characters you didn't get killed, because getting characters killed was like negative points. So Prime, one of these days I'll do a live stream and it'll be all about religion. But right now I'd rather chat about, by the way, guys, I'm going to shill for Vic. He's got his Kickstarter going. He's got the deck of traps. It's a bunch of random
Curses, you cursed.
Okay, well, my memory is whatever. The deck of curses. So you can randomly generate all the curses you want to inflict your players with, and know that they deserve them all.
Yes.
What are you doing at Kickstarter?
Yep. Let me find it. I posted it inside the room.
I shared the link, but I mean, if you go to Kickstarter and put deck of curses, you'll find it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
So yeah. So if that's something you guys want to do to support or help out your boy Vic over here.
Here it is. Got it. Copy. I will, let's see here. In a private chat, if you look in the chat there, Doc, I put it up for you.
Ah,
And in the YouTube, I've got it up now. There you go. I think it posted. Yeah, it posted.
yes, with the cookies.
Merc's Kickstarter is not arrive. Should be. Yeah, I would be definitely sending emails to Catalyst, being all like, WTF, guys.
What did Catalyst do now?
Well, he ordered the Merc Kickstarter, and if I believe that might be the Catalyst thing, where they were releasing all the different like vehicles and etc. And if he hasn't got that yet, that's a problem, because I'm pretty sure I've seen it for sale on eBay, or not eBay, Amazon.
Well, they've done that before. Put stuff out, sold stuff, even before the Kickstarter people have gotten it. They've done that multiple times.
Right. So it's like, yeah, Catalyst is like not a very good company. And the only reason they even still exist is because they have such a popular IP. Right? The BattleTech IP carries them along, because otherwise, what else do they got?
Not that they show it the slightest freaking respect.
Yeah, they don't. They don't show it any respect at all. But I mean, I guess some people might say, well, they've got Shadowrun, but they've ruined Shadowrun to the point that you can't even play it. So it's like, whatever,
Let me go shoot these dogs. Hang on.
Well, don't shoot
All
them.
right,
Just,
well, he's gonna go murder his puppies.
Yeah, I would hate that. That wouldn't be good.
I got a buddy with 4 German Shepherds, and I'm like, are you out of your mind?
I think I told you this. My mom collects animals.
Oh yeah, you've told me she's a hoarder.
Well, what it is she's just a softie. So anyone who has a dog that decides they don't want the dog just brings it to her and asks her if she'll take it off their hands for. Otherwise it might have to go to the pound, right, and be put down. And the answer is always yes. So now she's got like 6 freaking dogs.
Yeah, I brought them in with me in hopes it will shut them up. These are the offensive little bastards right here. There's Bear.
That's not exactly little.
And the person who got hurt the worst from all of this is her Pomeranian, because she's got a Pomeranian that's like, I don't know, 15 now,
Oh God.
and her
That's
Pom.
old.
Oh yeah, she's got a couple more years in her though. Her Pom really, really, really loved being an only child. And then she adopted all these other dogs, and like every day the Pom is just like just like walking around looking at the other dogs like peasants. Like, why are you people even here? And which of course just cracks me up, because Pomeranians have
They got an attitude.
such an interesting little personality. Except for mine. Mine gives shit about one thing and one thing only, and that's food. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have any kind of food, that dog is like right there. Being all like, hey, can I get some of that?
Mm-hmm.
He is so food driven that it's embarrassing at times.
I have a player in my group, and he was being, I don't know what he's trying to be funny in the group. He goes, and one of my NPC players was there trying to help them along to get them to go on an adventure. He's got all these war dogs, and the question was that who's feeding the dogs tonight? Well, my magic user decided to feed all the dogs. Well, one of the dogs defected, and now the guy who had it called the dog Shithead, so that's the dog's name. And this dog is basically food based, and he doesn't run anymore, he waddles. So anytime he comes around, he tries to steal back the dog, and it never works, because my player just, the NPC just, doesn't care. When she doesn't eat, she just scrapes into a bowl for the dog, and then the dog will die probably from caloric
diabetes, freaking obesity.
Yeah.
It's like the dog has a heart attack, but it doesn't care, because
as I like to tell the player, I said he's more likely to he looks more like Jabba the Hutt than the dog he used to be.
Right. The dog don't care. The dog's just like, I'm getting treats.
I'm happy and I'm fat. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. He's like, I'm getting treats. I really don't care.
I know where my bread is buttered, So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you don't see. We don't see enough in games, is people like have with animals, or taking the horses seriously. It's something I try to encourage in my games. I like people to like name their horses and get all attached to them, so it's like more fun when they die.
I include when it comes down to non-intelligent creatures like lions and stuff. If your horse bolts on you, and you might have a couple lions going after it and murdering it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is the easy kill. We'll murder the horse. We'll leave for a while. The humans will leave. Then we'll go back and eat the horse. Hippogriff. Oh, we're going for the horse. We can care less about all the humans throwing stuff at us. We're just going to kill the horse and we'll move on.
I remember I had one player they all bought like really nice war horses, and the one player was like, we never actually fight on horseback. I'm just getting a regular saddle horse. I'm like, oh, okay, dude. He's going to see a squirrel and have like a conniption fit.
I've saddled players with animals before. I had one guy with a chipmunk that decided that, hey, this guy's feeding me. I'm going to stay with him. And he even built armor for the chipmunk, a little armored pouch he had one of those bandoliers, sort of like Worf did on Star Trek. He made a little pouch there for the chipmunk to rest in and stuff. I gave him a +1 on observations, meaning if something was coming and the chipmunk was out on its shoulder, he'd be like, "Oh, I know that's coming," because there's an extra set of eyes, and the chipmunk would squeak and then go into his pocket and go, I ain't messing with that shit."
Trouble is afoot.
Yeah, and then there's the dog, and then there was something else. I don't remember what it was, but they all died.
Well,
A long time ago, one of my wife's characters had a pet goblin.
A pet what?
Goblin.
Oh God!
Like they went into a goblin town and they killed all the goblins except they found one goblin that had been like imprisoned and beaten and stuff. So they let that goblin go, and they're like, "If you're cool, you can come with us." And the goblin was like, "Yeah, there's no one here." And that goblin ran with them
the
for
other
like.
goblins hated him.
Well, the dwarf in the group was constantly trying to come up with an excuse to kill the goblin. Is like he was always like, the goblin looked at me weird or whatever. So the goblin would always hide behind the cleric and like poke his tongue out at the dwarf to try and get the dwarf stirred up. And it was unfortunate because there came a huge battle where the cleric could have died, and the little goblin threw itself in front of the death blow, and it died. And there's the story of Splug.
In our Dragonbane game, we picked up a goblin. It was part of a party that tried to attack us, and Cody's buddy who's playing the mage just decided to start being nice to it. And it's got this really annoying voice that Cody does for it. It's like super high pitched.
Right.
Oh, we've done the annoying characters. I always bring up an annoying NPC once in a while just to drive them insane. Like, there's the annoying NPC who's stolen stuff. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna hire a thief to go with us." That was a dumb move. A thief goes around stealing stuff. Oh, everybody's asleep.
The goblin with the super high-pitched Jar Jar Binks voice, that's the one you want.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the one you want. Of course, when my group, I stole this idea from Seth Gorkowski. When my group beat White Plume Mountain and got Black Razor, I had Black Razors talk like Elvis.
Oh, God.
The whole time. So they, because Sword can talk, and it would be talking to the player that held it, and it'd always be like, "Come on, man. Let's go get a sandwich. I'm thinking peanut butter and banana." And stuff like that. And the guy's always like, "Shut up." And the Sword would be like, "No, man. I know karate." And just like I was doing all my best like Elvis memes. And he was just being like annoyed by it. So he eventually gave it away. He actually went to Greyhawk and gave the sword to the city master so they could put it in the vault so that no one could ever use it.
Did you ever see the Alice Cooper tell the story about meeting Elvis?
No.
It's hysterical. Apparently he was performing somewhere and they were in the hotel, and Elvis Presley heard about Alice Cooper, so he asked him to be invited to the room, and they're like, "Bullshit." And he was talking about like the karate he does. He's like, "Here, let me show you something." He gives him a gun. It's loaded, but don't be worried. Point it at me. And Alice Cooper saying he's sitting there with this loaded gun pointed at Elvis Presley. He's like, "There's this little voice in my head." He goes, "Shoot him." Just bring him. You'll be the guy who shot Elvis. Then he kicked it out of his head.
Right. I think the last thing you would ever want to be is the guy who killed Elvis. Especially back then, you know what I mean?
Well, I think he just meant to like wing him or something. He was thinking, I don't think he was going to seriously do it, but he just had a little voice in his head.
Yeah.
You'll be the guy who shot Elvis.
See what happens. Can you imagine all of those grandmas, though, if you actually shot Elvis? See you later, Nerdy Ogre.
Later, Ogre. Goblin, nerdy goblin.
Nerdy goblin. But yeah, that would man, I think that would cause a war. Or at least like maybe a lynching for real. Like if somebody killed Elvis back then, forget about it. You would be done. It'd just be like, there's no prison that will hold you. Because everyone on the outside of it would be trying to get in to kill you.
Yeah.
You know?
You wouldn't even make it on the inside. It'd be like saying, "Hey, waving a flag." You know, I'm a pedophile in prison.
Right?
Yeah, you
I'm
shut the
a
fuck up.
Nazi, and you're in the black wing of the prison. You know what I mean? With all the colored guys. You know, I was like, "Oh, sorry."
All the inmates in there, and you're all like, you're the guy that killed Elvis Presley. It's like, nah. Better put that guy in solitary because he is not going to make it in general population.
Well,
You know? But,
even in solitary, they don't make it. Look at Epstein.
oh, he made it. He made it back to frickin' Israel.
You think Epstein's really alive right now?
Yep. I think Epstein was a Mossad agent, and no way did
Somebody was running him. That was just way too smooth.
Oh, what he
didn't
was
get
doing is
anything
like,
the first time he was convicted, he basically walked on it.
yeah,
It
he
was like,
walked
"Bad
on it
boy,
because
don't do
the
that
judge
again."
in Florida was like, nah, we're just going to let you go.
Which is
It's
not
like-
something that
And
would typically
also,
happen
he
in
had
film.
all of his money, but no one knows where he got any of it from. And he was 100% running a honeypot operation against movie stars and politicians. That's like top secret spy 101 shit. You know, like the Russians used to call them red canaries or whatever they called them. And that's what he was doing. And as a result, he ended up implicating the royal family of the UK. God only knows how many Hollywood
Prince Andrew.
actors, probably half of the politicians currently in DC, you know, which means he can make sure they vote in a way that benefits him or his
Running him.
the people running him. Because if you don't, then this shit will get released. Right?
Well, what about P. Diddy? Anybody? What's your opinion on P. Diddy?
Probably an FBI agent.
Really?
Probably, yes.
I think P. Diddy's gonna be. I don't know. There's probably money on his hide right now because if he's got those, what do you want to call it? All those tapes. Oh,
All those people who have like disappeared, like Leonardo DiCaprio, Ellen DeGeneres, all his like tight buddies have all left the country.
Yeah, basically all the people.
Because of Trump, because Nazi
No.
Trump, yeah.
It's basically all of the people who were fighting the hardest to get Kamala elected have now fled the country. Yeah, because they were hoping if Kamala could get elected that she could keep them all from prison. But if you get Patel and Bondi in charge of the DOJ and shit like that, people are going to prison, and they all know it. That is, if the current administration don't get us involved in a nuclear war first.
Yeah, there is that.
And there is that, but
It's not like they ain't trying.
and they all know it. They all know it. It's like, but that whole thing, the honeypot thing, that is old school spy shit. You know what I mean? Old school spy shit. And
It's a classic.
spy themed movies. So you move to Korean dramas. Hungar, who is sleeping, would you and him would have a lot to chat about, Jose, because he loves Korean dramas for some reason. That's my brother, but he's like, I don't know, 16 months younger or something. But yeah, that's all he watches. He don't even really watch American TV. He just watches Korean dramas. And now the only Korean drama I've ever watched was a video game called 5 Hearts Under One Roof. And I'm happy to say that it took me a long time, but with the help of my wife, I beat it. And my character ended up marrying the Korean woman with the biggest tits.
Yeah, but that's like being like the second tallest guy in China.
Oh no, you should see this girl. She was the girl who played the girl, because it's live action, was in the Korea Maxim magazine. So yeah.
I actually saw some
And
very good Korean movies while I was over there. They
It's
actually have
so
a very
weird
decent
because-
film industry over there.
Yeah. And playing that game made me feel weird for the rest of my life. Because now I'm just like, why did I do that? That was just like embarrassing. Like, my job is to make fun of people who play games like that, not to play games like that.
Well, it's research.
It kind of was. I was watching Asmongold lose his shit over this game. You know who Asmongold is, right?
I've seen him like on things, but I've never directly watched him.
Yeah, he used to be like one of the biggest WoW YouTubers of all time. And then he decided he hated World of Warcraft. And, so shit went down. But he was playing this game and just complaining and talking shit about how he couldn't beat it. And I'll tell you what, the game is really hard. Eventually he beat it, but I don't know. I think I beat it before he did.
Ha!
Because I was like, if it's that hard, I'm going to download it. Because no way it's that hard. Because it looks easy. It's not easy. It's one of the hardest games you'll ever play. And all it is multiple choice. Like, 2 Korean girls will yammer some stupid shit at you, and then multiple choice will come up. And you got to pick the right one. Because if you pick the wrong one, then, you can't keep going because it's in chapters, and you'll end up at chapter 4 without being able to go anywhere and just being like, this is sucking. And then you'll have to start all the way over at chapter 1 and pick all different things, hoping that it will be, and you'll do that about 20 times until you finally get it. Now, once you get past 4, it gets super easy, and you end up picking which one of the 5 Korean girls you want to be with. And it's really weird. There's like the really tall, skinny one, the short, cute one, the one that looks really, really young, the 30-year-old girl that works at an office and has massive boobs, and then which one am I forgetting? Really tall, big boobs, cute, hiding out in the attic for some reason, and the pop star. So I ended up picking the one that looked the least Asian, because I've never had an Asian fetish. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes they look like cats. So I'm like, no, I don't want. It's like the more Asian they look, the less interested I was. But then the one girl, if you manage to get her, not only does she have like massive, massive boobs, which I like, but you end up taking over the company that her dad owns. So you end up becoming a millionaire, and, she's at home, waiting for you. And but it does say she gets frustrated because you work so much, and she wishes you would come home more. So, yeah, there's that. And then if you want, you can play the other ones and see what the other ones are. But I didn't, because I was like, yeah, I saw about enough of that shit. I don't need to be involved in that anymore. But apparently, I looked it up, and those kind of games, whatever they're called, if Leth was here, he would know. They're super popular in Japan and Korea, and mainly with women.
Wait, what's this?
These games, they're super popular in Japan and Korea, and mainly with women. And there are some of the games where it's completely reversed, where like you play this girl in like college, and like, these 4 or 5 dudes are all like trying to get with you, and there's like the jock, the really smart guy, there's all the archetypes of dudes, and you go through the story until you end with whichever guy you want to be with. Apparently that's a huge thing for Koreans and Japanese females.
Huh.
But like I said, having played it and beat it, I'll talk to you about it, but deep down inside, I'm a little embarrassed. Actually, more than a little. I'm very embarrassed that I ever played it. Because, it was just like, this is not the kind of games I play. The kind of games I play generally involve people killing each other, or you killing somebody, or building a village in the medieval ages and trying not to get murdered by the neighboring kingdom, shit like that. Whereas this game is entirely a relationship game.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you wander around Gungdom, Seoul, which is, the super rich part of Seoul, and answer multiple choice questions that may or may not give you affection points with one of the 5 girls.
Oh, Jesus.
Like I said, the Asians love that shit. And I'm all like, all right,
I'll pass.
To each their own, Right now I'm playing Medieval Dynasty, and I'm playing co-op, so Hungar's on my server with me. And we're just building a village and mining for metal so we can make tools, and I'm trying to romance a couple of different women, hoping that one of them will marry me so we can, I can have kids. Because if you play the game long enough, you can retire your main character and play your son.
Oh, God.
Because it goes through seasons, right? And years. And, it don't show anything happening. It just says, in the springtime or something, your wife gave birth to a son. Yay, whatever. It's not like it's, one of those games. And there are those games out there too. You can see them on Steam, and you're like, wait a minute. That shit is not a game. That's straight up porn. They might call it a game, but that's porn. That's what you're looking at, porn. Now, the game I played with the Koreans was not porn, because other than the fact that the chick, the model with the big boobs, wore like really low-cut shirts in every scene, there was no sex at all. So, and apparently having big boobs was her personality trait. Like the one chick's personality trait was she was in a Korean pop band and whatever. But the one at the office, her trait was having big boobs and wearing like really tight shirts that she unbuttoned down to like here. Like in one scene, she's wearing one of these like ID cards around her neck. And the rope, the lanyard, the ID card is attached to is completely invisible. You see it come off of around her shoulders, and then it's gone. Because it's,
Well, she was trying to keep it in place so you can read.
Yeah, it's down in there, right? It's like, okay, this is weird. I'm feeling really weird about this shit, but I'm going to finish it. And then, like, my wife helped a little bit, and that made me feel a little less weird about it, dragging my wife into it,
I don't see why, but okay.
It's like, now you're in it too. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know, Asian games are weird. I am playing Battlezone 98 Redux, whatever. Hardcore sci-fi, Cold War, fought on the moon, and we were lied about space. Oh, yeah. Well, everybody knows there's like a World War II Nazi base on the moon. Or is it or is it the South Pole? Wherever it is.
They can have both. They can have
There's one, they found
bases.
one in, where was it? Up in Nova Scotia, not Nova Scotia, Labrador, on on the east coast of Labrador there.
Huh.
Nazi, it's all the stuff is still there. It was a weather station for World War II.
Oh,
Nice.
freaky.
I have had that happen, X, where a character played his character for so long that he ended up dying. And luckily, since he had been level 11 or 12 and had his own little barony that he had built with the help of the rest of the group, when his character died at the age of 70 something, his son was in his mid-20s, one of them, and he played that character.
That's good. Yeah,
And
Pendragon's
Hungar's
built around
dwarf
that.
played with him because Hungar's dwarf was like capped at level 6 or something. Because, you know, I used the racial caps in AD&D, so he didn't have a huge strength. So even though he's a fighter, he was like capped at like 6 or 8 or something. So yeah, you know, those things happen. I mean, every time your characters go for an adventure, then they go back to the town, rest up, drink, spend a bunch of money, probably, you know, go wenching and drinking and shit, right? You can just basically imagine that at least a month has passed, at least 1 month, and probably 2 or 3. So your player characters are not having 100 adventures a year. They're having like 5. And that's if they're really motivated, right? So if you play a game of AD&D for, let's say, we played that game for like 5 years, and we played every week for 5 years. I mean, you know, characters start out at 20, and then after a couple of years, they're 50 and 60. And so you start reducing strength and dex and raising wisdom. And eventually you start losing wisdom because, I mean, you're getting addle-minded. And yeah, that's just the way it went, you know? We even came up with rules where his wife, he random rolled his character's wife, and then to determine the attributes of his children, we basically averaged his and her attributes, you know, and then there was like some randomization there. So like, you know, one of his kids was really strong and blah, blah, blah. But she had been a member of a barbarian tribe that he ended up taking as a wife as part of an alliance with the barbarian tribe so that they'd stop raiding his shit. You know what I mean? He's like, look, I'll marry the chief's third daughter, and you guys, you know, you're cool here, but stop raiding all my shit. How about that?
And it can
They're
always be
like,
fun
okay.
to bring back like old characters, like once they're way past their prime for like a last hurrah. Kind of an Expendables thing, so everybody's
Right, like a
old
bunch
to
of
do
characters,
that.
they're all in their 60s.
We can all throw their backs out and shit. Oh, fuck. I'm
But
too
yeah.
old for this shit.
A game that does that magnificently actually is Pendragon.
Yeah, that's completely built around that. You're playing a family more than a character, really.
Yeah. And every adventure is like 1 year.
Yeah, you do one thing and then you do your winter shit and then
It's like, yep, you got winter, then you're adventuring, and then the harvest, and then family business, and then, you know, whatever.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
do the whole campaign like in the big book where they go through it year by year for like it goes over it's like 90 something years.
Which
There's
means
like
you're definitely going to be playing relatives of yours.
Yeah, so you're going through at least 3 generations of people, if not 4, possibly 5.
Yeah, depending on how you roll. I mean, Dad went away adventuring when I was 7. He never came back. Like, I guess I'm the man of the house now, you know? And there you go, right? But, yeah, that's one thing. And no, even though I'm friends with most of the people on Twitter that would be referred to as the Bro SR, mainly because I just don't really care about the drama. So I just don't care about the drama. So I get along with, I guess, both sides of that whole bullshit. the one
James,
time
you need a
thing.
paint carousel.
I need a what?
A paint carousel.
Oh no, I'm looking for a head now. I've got some parts, some shields and stuff on the desk. I am still looking for a bald head. And it has to be a big one. Like from a 32 mil figure. I might just have to go looking through my Space Marines. I'm sure there's a bald Space Marine head.
Let's just take Doc's head. He's a little bald up on top there.
Nah, this guy has to be completely hairless.
Oh.
Because it's going to be a head for a Thrall, and the Thrall are completely hairless. But yeah, I don't play 1-1 time the way people will get all crazy about it.
Yeah, I've never understood that. Unless you're running like 10 groups in the same world, I really don't.
Which is, I think,
any
what it's
advantage
for.
to doing that. Yeah, yeah. People just do that with like one party. It's like, why are you creating all this like extra work for yourself and create this situation? Okay, you guys get on the ship for the new world. I guess we'll pick this up in 6 months when you get there.
Yeah, our DM for Vampire was trying to do it 1-1 time until one of the players took like 6 points of ag damage, and it was going to take him 6 weeks to heal.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. Just...
So it was like, so if we're playing 1-1 time, does that mean this dude basically can't do anything for a month and a half? I mean, because that would suck. A barbarian woman with a degree. Nobody's looking for degrees back then. They were just trying to. He was just trying to make the deal so that they'd stop burning all the outlying villages to the ground. Plus, he was killing a shitload of them too, because he was playing a cavalier in first edition.
A cavalier barbarian marriage. I bet that went swimmingly at the holidays.
He was lawful neutral, and the thing with the cavaliers is every time they leveled up, their strength, dex, and con went up by a percentile. And over a long enough time, they could actually go up a whole number. So you could have a cavalier start out with like an 18 con, and then by 8th level have a 19 con. Well, I don't think you could, because human max is 18, but still. So yeah, there was a lot of warring going on between him and the barbarians, and then he married the princess of the tribe, and they started leaving him alone, which was a good thing. My wife is over there, and I smell the smell of something possibly cooking. Hungar's supposed to wake up soon so that we can play some Innis.
Well, I suppose it depends, Jose, on the kind of degree you're looking for. We have PhD on bone grinding.
Right.
How to defend Thesis.
Well, I mean, they were, even though they're barbarians, they're not like that. They're more like, just like a tribe of people that wander around an area burning shit to the ground. That's kind of what they were.
I mean, who doesn't like that?
And part of the reason he had been given the land holdings he had been given is because of them. You know what I mean? Because the king wanted that area, what's it called? Put to an end, dominated, whatever. And so that's why that area was given to him and the group. And since he was the freaking cavalier, he immediately took charge of everything, And Hungar's dwarf was just like, okay. At the end of it all, Hungar's dwarf managed to call his clan in, and the Cavalier gave him like a whole hilly region to mine out and whatever. So that's what Hungar's character did a lot of between adventures, is mine and hang out with his clan mates and whatever. She played Battletech. That's awesome. That's awesome. A wife that plays Battletech is worth her weight in gold. Yep. Yep. I hear my brother getting up too. That means I'm going to have to take off.
Yep.
Yep. There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Got an extra grind.
Oh, is dinner ready too?
We'll be ready in just a minute.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Oh, look, it's right walking into Doc's house here.
Okay, I got to head off anyway, guys. I will talk to you later. You guys have a great day.
You have a
All
great
right.
time.
Do, man. Everybody, goodbye.
Bye. And everybody who hung out.